Hey everyone, welcome back to Paper Therapy with Amy. Here are some photos that I printed on a recent Canon selfie tutorial, and if you haven't seen that, go watch it if you have or are thinking about getting a selfie or know anyone who has one, because it seems to be really helping people out. So I do want to show you this card kit. I picked it up for these white overlays because I thought they would be, I think they're quite hard to see on here, but I will show you them in real life. I think they would be quite nice on some of my wedding layouts, so that's why I picked them up. Not as much the bird one, maybe, but the flower one here is quite pretty. And I actually really like the ferns as well. And I thought I would definitely use them as embellishment on layouts. So you get everything to make these cards here. You get the string, you get the adhesive, you get the envelopes, you get all of that. So you can check that out online. I will link it down below. But so I did want to kind of use some of the card bases as well. And I found that this one matched really well to this flower. But it does make me a bit nervous because I've been working with flowers in pink lately, and it's been a bit of a struggle some of the time. So this one here I think might need a white background. I think I'm gonna orientate them like this. I kind of want my husband looking in this way. So I think something maybe like this. Oh no, I don't want those two beside each other. I want this one in between. I think I'll switch these two. And I'm thinking this will span one page, this row, and then I'll have some kind of something coming in behind here. And I thought about putting this in behind, but it's not really big enough, so I think I might just use it to frame this picture, and I could even put it more in the center and just have a small frame around it like that, and just kind of, that makes it pop out a little bit more. So I have that kind of planned, and I think I'm just going to start on white. I don't think white's going to be the color I'm going to be on the whole time, but it just makes it easier to see that footprint of the page. I always want to call it Floral Charm, but I think it's Lovely Florals. And it just, I'm scared to use it now because I've struggled with it twice, but I did notice that this sheet here is such a good match, especially even the blues. So I'm wondering if I put very tiny doses of it, if that could look okay. And I also noticed that these look a lot like the hydrangea, but I don't know if these two can really go together unless they're very separated by blue or gray or something. So I don't want to try and go too many directions at once. So I'm going to start with putting some very solid papers down. And I was thinking, I have a couple of different options, but they are not from Stampin' Up. Trying to decide how to put this. I have some map paper and some brick paper. The map paper is an old, close to my heart set. It had all the doors on it, I think, but I've separated all my maps and kind of put them, it's called Documented. I've separated all my maps and kind of put them together. I have that, and then I have some brick paper from that same paper pack, and it also has these on the back, but I thought maybe these would work as well. And these are very light, but if I'm going to use busy things and maybe some darker blue, the lightness might be nice. So I think if I want this one, I might want to span the whole page. So I think I'm going to cut it in half. That's what's nice about using this size photos. And I cut these down from a 4x6 as well. So I have this here, and then I was looking at this sheet and I flipped it over and I thought, oh, that really goes good with the buildings down below, which is kind of cool. So I thought, well, what if I could put this in behind here and I wouldn't have to use very much. This is from the Peaceful Garden, which this was a peaceful garden, so that's kind of perfect. So I think that looks kind of nice. I think I'm just going to leave that there for now. And then I'm going to put some white around these. So I've kind of got this far. It's a lot of white, but I still kind of like it. I would take the little piece that's behind here and put it over here, just so that it kind of has that look that it's going right behind. And then I did find, I had used these sheets already, but I had pulled them apart. It was this one here, and I thought, what if I just would to cut that circle, because it kind of matches well. So I'm going to cut that circle out. I'm just going to cut around the outermost white circle, and by the magic of film editing, it is done. I'm going to try tucking that in here and leave it there, see how I feel about it. I also want to use one of these card bases under here, and I think I'll dovetail it so it looks like a great big banner. I like that. That's one of those card bases. That one is a lagoon color, and then what's under the pink flower is a card base as well from that kit I showed you in the beginning. I think I will bring in a little bit of this floral paper. I'm going to bring it in very small doses because I had such a struggle with trying to use this paper before. I tried to use too big of pieces and I wasn't happy with how it turned out. So I found I kind of like this pink circle and decided to show a little more of it by bringing it over top of the map paper. Hopefully I don't regret that decision. That pink paper there was 2 sheets with a big circle on them, and I had them in the very background of my original Heather layout and ended up ripping that layout apart, but I did not throw these out because they weren't completely ruined. I love this little die cut overlay thing up here, but I feel like it's a bit much, so I'm going to snip it apart a little bit, and that way I can put one bird on top and one bird somewhere else and kind of spread the wealth, and I'll use a few of the leaves in different places as well. I really like to cut up die cut images like this, even the ones I die cut myself, especially when it's a larger sprig, because I like that I can make it look different in different areas. I feel if I use the whole big sprig, sometimes it just looks repeated because it looks identical. I'm pretty happy how this is coming together. So before I start getting into embellishing, I'm going to ink around all the edges, and I'm just going to show you a little bit of how I do that. The more you hold your inking tool at an angle, the more of that edge is going to darken, and the more you hold it perpendicular, the more you are going to get just the very edge. So I want to title this layout, and I am going to call it Rooftop Garden, and I do want to have some journaling here by my husband, so I'm not sure how I'm going to add that in yet, but I do have a thin cut. This is an old Close to My Heart thin cut. Oh, if I could grab it. This is an old Close to My Heart thin cut, and it cuts these kind of circle things, and it kind of matched that circle, so I thought I would go with that. And I think I'll put one maybe like up here somewhere, maybe loop it even on the photo like that, and then I think I'm going to put one down here maybe. And then remember I had the birds, so I snipped those apart a little bit just so I could spread it around because it's very big. And I thought maybe one up here, and then maybe one kind of sitting in this circle, which I really like. And then I do have some extra pieces of leaves, but we'll see where I'm going to put those. And then for the title, I wanted Rooftop, so I think I'm going to stamp that on the background. And I thought a garden could be on banners to play off this banner here. So I cut a whole bunch of little banner pieces and I inked around them. And I'm going to see, I cut them out of this paper. I didn't have any kind of die for these. I just cut one out. They're 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches wide, I think, 1.25 inches wide. And then I just dovetailed one. And when I liked the dovetail, I just put it over top and kept snipping them. And you can see that I used the floral paper, the blue kind of star paper in the background, and the map paper. And I didn't want to use the brick because I wanted to overlap onto the brick, although I am overlapping onto the map as well, and it seems to work okay. I inked around the edge so that they would show up, and I did ink over the top of the map paper a little bit because I wanted to use white letters. I tried the bright pink for letters and it just didn't look quite right. I really like the white. It shows up well, but it also has a subtlety to it, and they kind of letters, I feel they blend into the banners a little better, but still show. I cut some extra banners to put on other parts of the page, and I think that's going to kind of be the extent of my embellishing. I know that when you don't like a layout, usually the best advice is to simplify it. There's probably too many things going on. Not that I don't like this layout, but I'm a little bit timid with this paper because I had some struggles with it, as you know. This was a rooftop garden in London on the 15th floor of a building that's really close to the Gherkin building there. You can see we were in amongst the buildings, so it's not the tallest building, but from the one side you can get a really good view of Tower Bridge and the Tower of London, and it was pretty neat. And it's absolutely free to go and visit. It's called Garden at 120, I believe. You just have to stand in line because they do put you through a metal detector before they let you go up. My husband had a really good time watching that crane operator. It was just a huge, big crane, and he was telling me that those guys make a ton of money, and it's a very skilled job, and there's a lot depending and riding on what you do, that you don't make mistakes and smash into things. So he was really enjoying just watching him operate that huge crane. I like that a lot. So, and I have these leaves I could put here, but I do want to stamp on here. I have this stamp set here, and I'm gonna try the word rooftop from that, and I think I'm just gonna do it in a blue. I have Night of Navy and Not Quite Navy. Maybe I should try it up underneath here, just where it's gonna be covered, just to see which one does a better color. Harbor, I know, is very similar to Secret Sea, so let's try Harbor first. So I only have one O, so I like to leave some gaps so I can repeat the O afterwards. So that's the Harbor, and I'm gonna try it again in Not Quite Navy, because I think that might be pretty close as well. And the color does change because you're doing it on a pink background, so I'm just gonna pick the one that kind of matches that Secret Sea paper the best. Not Quite Navy does look the best, so I'm going to use that one and stamp it here, and then I'm gonna add those little O's in that I have to repeat, and I think I have my title complete. And I'm just gonna erase my little pencil mark that I used as a guide where I wanted the corner of my block to be when I was stamping. Off camera, I'm gonna put all these banners back and glue them down to the spots that I wanted them. I did pop up that title banner and add a string to it, but the other banners are glued directly to the page. And I am really happy with how this one came together. I hope you'll hit like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that yet. And I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you next time here on YouTube.